Podcasting since 2005. This is the King of Podcasts radio network. kingofpodcasts.com.
There are so many things the juvenile delusional fandom could be talking about today, but we're talking about AEW in an 1,100-seat arena.
Woo! Hey, this is the Nature Boy Ric Flair, and believe it or not, whether you like it or don't like it, learn to love it, because you have to listen to Wrestling is Real. It is the best thing going today. Woo!
The worldwide leader of podcasting excellence. The King of Podcasts radio network proudly presents The Wrestling is Real podcast, because wrestling needs us.
This is episode 943 of the Wrestling is Real podcast, kingofpodcasts.com. Of course, that's where you find me, find the program, all the other good stuff. So yeah, we're 3 weeks from SummerSlam. As we do this, we have Slammiversary this weekend as well we got to talk about. So we're going to go through all that tonight. But first and foremost, we got to talk about the juvenile delusional fandom and where they are right now as WWE is doing their SummerSlam scramble, trying to fill up the rest of the card in 3 weeks. Okay? And with so much content preceding itself over the weekend, you know, you would think the fandom could be talking about, you know, Goldberg's retirement and him getting cut off. But the thing is, there was all these negative things that go along with it. First of all, cutting off his mic on NBC right before Saturday Night's Main Event goes away. I mean, they did cut him off at a good break point, but there was more he had to say. But he doesn't get the proper send off. He's not happy about it. He complains to Ariel Helwani about it, or was it Chris Van Vliet? I forget. Either which way. And then you have Evolution, which you could say a lot about. A couple of matches got booked as a result going off of that. Now you got another match for Lyra Valkyria to Lyra Valkyria. I always say the other way around. You know, Southern kind of thing. So she's going to get another rematch against Becky Lynch to go back after the Intercontinental Championship. Okay. So that's been set. And then you also had on SmackDown on the Friday before, everything is being set up with Randy Orton and Jelly Roll in a featured match, celebrity match, against Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. So those two matches are already set up. And I guess they're just going to set other matches up towards the end of this, and that's the plan. Okay, and the other matches that there might be out there? Let's look. From one place I'm looking at right now that is kind of guesstimating right now. So besides, you might have AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio. You might have Damian Priest against Aleister Black, potentially. You'll have Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Naomi in a triple threat. Gunther taking on CM Punk, which was set up from the Gauntlet match, more or less, right? For the World Heavyweight title. And Secret Hervis versus Stephanie McIntyre and Nikki Bella. And the winner could get a tag title match at SummerSlam. We don't know. But the thing is, those are some of the potential matches they have so far. Going into SummerSlam, all of your champions are heels. Every one of them. That's quite an amazing feat right there. Yeah, I was just looking right now. So yeah, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, I guess you could say she is a heel. A Judgment Day, Wyatt 6 now with the World Tag Team titles over Street Profits. I don't understand that. And by the way, Wyatt 6 will be able to go ahead and defend the belts under Freebird rules. Why even call it that? Why don't you just call it New Day rules? I mean, don't even go ahead and impugn the name. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, why even go ahead and use the word Freebird? Nobody knows what that is. Say New Day rules. Everybody knows what that means. Come on. Yeah, Gunther. Yeah. When you look at everything right here, yeah, it looks like it's pretty much that. Yeah. All heels. Incredible. So we have all that can be talked about. SummerSlam coming up in 3 weeks. Everybody can be going, talking all about that. The lead up to it. 6 matches already scheduled right now so far, officially. John Cena against Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed WWE Championship, which is, rematch from WrestleMania. Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the women's title. We just mentioned Orton and Jelly Roll, and Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul. Gunther and CM Punk for the World Heavyweight title. Naomi, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, again, triple threat for the women's world title. And Becky versus Lyra for the IC title. That's also all set. But you got to fill up 2 nights. And I have not checked WrestleTix on X to find out if they have sold out yet or not. I need to go and take a look at that and see where they are. But I'll be hard-pressed to say they were able to go and do that. The last check for SummerSlam by WrestleTix was last Thursday, it looks like. Or it looks like last Friday. And at that point, they still showed about a good 4,700 tickets left to sell. Just under 40,000 right now. Current sub is 45,000. That's for Saturday. And then as of Sunday, they're just short of 4,000 tickets. And they currently has a little over 40,000 tickets sold. So yeah, they'll probably get it sold by the end of all that. But that's all they're going to go and do is go 45,000 at MetLife Stadium, which I'm pretty sure goes to 70 or 80. And yeah, we could say, okay, well, they're also going to have, the staging going to be set up for that. I don't know what that's going to be, but that's what they're going to do. Now, let's look at where we are in the current setup of other things. One of the things that everybody complained about tonight, as we're recording here, was Dynamite did the fallout from All in Texas, right? And from everything that we're looking at, it looks like they might have gotten 29,000, one of the highest gate North America ever for AEW. So for them, that's a success. And in terms of the tickets they're selling right now for their other shows, well, one of the shows they're going to be going to, that they're going to be doing right now, that people were all up and at it, that I was watching on X tonight, was where, for whatever reason, wherever AEW was performing tonight. So let's go into that real quickly. Dynamite tonight emanated from the Byline Bank Aragon Ballroom in Chicago. Now, I don't know about this venue. It's a very interesting venue. It is in downtown Chicago. Matter of fact, on Lawrence Avenue. 5 minutes north of downtown. So they're right in the heart. And it's a very old classic arena, like a theater that opened up in 1926. So in the way that AEW likes to go and do things, they don't have an issue with going into certain setups and doing residencies. We had that last year when they went to 2300 Arena for a residency. Same thing going for when they went to Eastport Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where they went for Collision for a residency. And now they're doing a residency between now and the end of July, if I'm going correctly. They're doing 6 shows, I believe, in that same arena, that ballroom. The current setup, 1,144. And so they were sold out tonight. And they're supposed to be doing the same thing again a few more nights the same way. So to be able to make sure you got Collision, which never sells as much as Dynamite, and it's over 6 nights. But everybody thought, oh, this is after All In. You just got this big stadium, and this is the place you to choose to go to? Yeah. For television, it's a different story. And it's not as if they can't do more people at other events. I mean, they're going to go out to Forbidden Door Toronto. They're selling tickets for that. They're going to Glasgow, Scotland for a show coming up soon, and a lot more. So I'm not sure what they're going to let everybody think about so far about all this, but they were sold out tonight. Everything was fine. But everybody got up and at it about the arena. Oh, and this is the thing. And so I even put a community note on X to get clear of the people that kept saying, look how small this arena is. If you're still going after AEW after the full court blitz, all right, the full court press that WWE tried to do on AEW by smothering it, basically, with shows going up against, before it, and after it. I mean, WWE didn't want to have AEW at all have their own weekend. WWE was more than happy to go and put Great American Bash up against it same time, and then put on Saturday Night's Main Event, which AEW respectfully moved their show away from the nighttime to do it during the afternoon. And then you had Evolution take over the Sunday night spot. It's all this going on that the company decided to go ahead and make sure, okay, then let's make sure that that Evolution gets the headlines after the weekend. That's the kind of thought process we got. So there's been the talk right now about bullying in wrestling right now. And one of the people that has been talking a lot about it, that talked about it yesterday on Wrestling Observer Radio, was Dave Meltzer. Here's what he said.
You really put this head-to-head with All In? It's like, you know, when you go head-to-head, you know what I mean? It's like you don't want to look like you're 20 times worse. I mean, it's like you want to look like you're better, and it's not like they had to do the show. It's not like they picked the date first and the other people came. It's like you go in there on a head-to-head, and you want to put your best foot forward, and they literally, in every way, put their worst foot forward. They had, a small arena that the crowd was fine, but they weren't that hot at all, especially for a small arena like that. I mean, small arenas are usually really hot. It wasn't. The matches were okay, and they were going against this show that literally when they booked it, they may have thought, these guys are only going to get 12,000 people in a baseball stadium, and they're going to look really bad, and we're going to have a packed little building. But it didn't work out that way.
So there's Dave Meltzer talking about that. Another person I followed along with that they talked about venues and things like that on X. I will not give out names because I don't need to go ahead and give that kind of press to people, but I will just say that I read this story here. The same person actually posted out that the CW broadcast of the NXT program actually dropped to 586,000 viewers. Yeah, bad time of year. I mean, they're going against nothing else except for the home run derby last night for Major League Baseball. There was not much else going on. But for whatever reason, not a lot of people were watching for CW. They also ran center stage again, 750 seats, and did not sell it out, apparently. You got that. 586,000, that's basically what they got on USA at their lowest as well. But I'm not going to go and take too much of it. I guess Great American Bash did not do much out of that, but they can always do something else that will make it change. Plus, all hands on deck got to be for SummerSlam and for other events they have, or Evolution, things like that. And, I guess the Blake Monroe instant turn to heel on Jordan Grace didn't get as much press as everybody thought would get, I guess. And the same person wrote an opinion piece on X and was talking about the fact that WWE fans watching them trip over their own logic when they try to declare AEW a failure. And the conversation always leads to the same point. So AEW is always called a failure because it may draw fewer fans than it did a year ago. Fair critique are using the same ruler across the board. When you apply the same measure to the WWE, it falls flat. TV ratings are down. That's on both brands. So is attendance. On every chart, WWE has lost more attendance and viewership in less than a year than AEW has in 5 years. Well, I can't say those numbers are correct, and there's not anything he's citing in this, but either which way. But if there's a decline that people will go and perceive about WWE, it's never called a failure. It's ignored, downplayed, or spun into some other narrative. So why isn't WWE being held to the same standard? Okay, did this author's writing here on X? This is the part we don't have to be worried about. Again, on this program, I don't worry about that kind of discussion on trying to go and point fingers. The thing is that if you're cutting through the noise of the dirt sheets and the podcasters out there that they like to go and let themselves talk because their own personal animus of they want to be noticed, they want to be recognized, they want to have the wrestling community fawn all over them, not just the fans. Things like that. Me, old King of Podcasts here, I don't worry about all that stuff. I don't worry about guests, don't worry about anything else like that. I'm just a commentator on the sport of professional wrestling, that's it. And with what WWE is doing right now, even I have to go admit that expecting them to be able to go and deliver creative, to deliver on the amount of content they're doing right now, is asking for a lot. But even then, they're not necessarily doing particular storylines that have a beginning and an end. And if they do, there's nothing much to them. And I'm not asking for something over the top. I just think you're also keeping the same people on top. The same stagnation in the main event level is still there. The fact that Braun Breaker was actually featured in a gauntlet match to get a chance at the World Heavyweight title only happens because Seth Rollins, apparently or not, is injured. But as I pointed out after watching Saturday Night's Main Event, by the way, I did post shows for both All In and Saturday Night's Main Event on Saturday night and Evolution on Sunday night. And if you want to catch those post shows, you can find them right now at kingofpodcasts.com or find them on my YouTube channel at King of Podcasts, all there for you. And one of the things that was talked about was I looked at the Seth Rollins knee injury. I looked back at the clip again, and it didn't look like it was really legit. F4W Online reports that the knee injury Seth Rollins appeared to have suffered was a work. And it was also said that talent and production were worked into thinking it was legitimate. It's these little things that everybody thinks is like so cool. Like, oh, look, they're playing kayfabe still. The reporter further adds that, according to one source, Rollins actually did have a very minor knee injury going to the show, but the claim is he's actually injured somewhat true, but nothing would keep him out of action without missing much time. And the idea of the work injury is to convince fans that Rollins will be out of action for a long period of time and make a surprise early return with a cash-in of the Money in the Bank contract. Okay. If that's what they want to do, fine. Triple H noted in the Evolution Post show that Rollins was backstage and things were inconclusive, but it didn't look good. And by the way, they were in Birmingham, Alabama, which could give them the alibi saying, well, maybe Seth Rollins met with Dr. James Andrews and was going to go under an MRI. Rich Eisen had Seth Rollins on his show on Wednesday, and Rollins says there was no update on a diagnosis regarding his knee due to the swelling, and he might miss a significant amount of time and would be undergoing an evaluation in Los Angeles soon. So everything points to saying, yeah, this is the work. Okay, fine. But I mean, I've seen when he's gotten injured before, there was an injury he got, and it was in a title match against Jinder Mahal, if I'm correct. I saw that clip, and that's where he did definitely get hurt. You know, he's gotten hurt in other areas, but the same thing goes, I think it also was the same right knee he's been hurt on before. So for him to go and play that off, he's played off the knee injury even in matches. I remember seeing him buckle like that as well, using it as a storyline, or people using the knee as a storyline in a match to go ahead and get over on him. That's normal. And then on the top of everything else, besides what happened with Seth Rollins, besides the fact that Braun Breaker went out and was holding up for the Oracle, Paul Heyman, now he's called, and for Bronson Reed, and to get all that stuff going on with the match. After all was said and done, at the end of Monday Night Raw, if you missed it, Roman Reigns came back. And my question is, what is he there for? Like, what is it he's going to do now? He's not going after the world title. He's not going after the WWE title. I mean, it sounds like it'll be pretty logical, good to see him take on John Cena in this retirement tour. I don't know if he's going to be or not, but apparently SummerSlam he's going to be there. Do we know what he's going to be doing? I don't know. But the talk might be that Braun Breaker might take on Roman Reigns. And that'll be the plan because originally it was going to be Seth Rollins, but they're not doing that yet. But either way, you know, Braun Breaker was making it a big deal. People were talking about it. And one of the areas that was being done was, for whatever reason, you know, Braun Breaker can talk. Okay. I mean, he sounds like Scott Steiner when you listen to him. But why they let Paul Heyman go ahead and confront Gunther in a setup for the gauntlet match later in the night? Paul Heyman is the one setting up Braun Breaker, and he says this.
Let me make this perfectly clear. Braun Breaker is the next big thing. Braun Breaker is the big dog. And this is Braun Breaker's yard. You're not looking at just another contender. He's a Steiner.
And I don't think anybody really understands that. You're really expecting Paul For everybody to understand what you mean by Steiner, not everyone is going to remember the Attitude Era. You got a lot of younger viewers that probably won't even know about it. And if they're kind of paying attention, they don't know. Plus, doing the whole big dog thing, that's actually his father, Rick Steiner, Dogface Gremlin. So now we're just combining Steiners all together, like we're supposed to understand that. So I don't know if Paul's actually helping the case here by being the oracle here in this group and trying to go ahead and support Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker would be just fine talking on himself. But anyway, Paul continues.
So you know what that means? He's going to break through every barrier that's put in front of him. He's going to break through the glass ceiling in WWE, and he's going to break your ass at SummerSlam. There's going to be a new world heavyweight champion, a long-term world heavyweight champion at SummerSlam, and his name is Braun Breaker.
Okay. But we didn't get that match. CM Punk won. Fine. But Braun Breaker being put into this right here and thinking that the Paul Heyman endorsement is going to make a difference for him? No. So far, I have felt nothing that has made Braun Breaker feel more special in this group. I'm going to say it like this. This pairing of what Paul Heyman has set up right now is worse than when he had Cesaro at his side. It just is. I mean, right now, I don't feel anything here. I mean, Paul Heyman is just, he is paired with the wrong person right now. And just because he was able to do Roman Reigns a good thing with him, we didn't need Braun Breaker to have the same thing. And so, like right now, putting Braun Breaker into this group was a mistake. He didn't need to be in a faction. He has gotten nothing from this right now. I feel like he's just been held back for 3 months. He just got off an IC title run. Sure, they don't want to hold on to the belt for him for a long time, but you know what? You want to turn him heel? He can go heel on his own. That's the easy part. And I don't know if anything that he got from NXT, just pure energy and charisma and his power and everything that he's done, that obviously got him over in NXT. Made him a big deal. But then you go and take him over here, and it's just not working. And dare I say, if it could have been Scott Steiner that could be managing Braun Breaker, I would have preferred that. And there's no reason at all that Scott Steiner could not be out here managing his nephew. I don't believe why that couldn't be possible. But it could have totally been possible right here. Would have been a right start for him. Because then the thing is, you could have had Braun Breaker really play off as like the upstart, but like really, it's kind of like where Randy Orton had his father Bob Orton out there with him at ringside, which worked out really well too. I think you could have done that. And how often do we get the generational move like that? I thought it would have been wonderful. Dare I say that when Cody Rhodes was making his way back into significance after the run of Ring of Honor, he was accompanied by his wife. But then he's doing stuff in AEW at the very beginning of his onset. TNT title, all this stuff, right? And Arn Anderson as his coach. Arn was just a good compliment to Cody Rhodes. And look at the star power that we have, right? Braun Breaker does not need, if you're going to have him paired with anybody, it didn't need to be Paul Heyman. I just don't think that everybody can say that whoever Paul Heyman represents is instantly going to be a star. It's just not. So I just think that if Paul wants to be out there managing, I kind of prefer he's not managing right now at all. He did Bloodline and he did a great job on it. Hey, good on you, man. Pat in the back. I'd prefer Paul Heyman going back and doing more in creative, because he would be much more useful back there if he was actually handling some of the bigger main event storylines and wasn't on screen. I'd prefer him not to be on screen. I'd prefer him just going to be a part of this and help to build in here, instead of him being the mentor of talent. When I'm mentor of talent, do it backstage, but not now. At this point, I just feel like Paul Heyman, because of his spot right now, he is being granted the chance to go and work on this team. It's not working. And I don't see what he's going to do to turn this around. I just don't see it. So that's another problem I wanted to go and bring up in there as well. And I'm looking at everything and I'm saying to myself, okay, going back to that story I had just read before, is that there's this inconsistent cherry-picked argument that falls apart the moment you hold up the actual scrutiny. Trying to call AEW a failure while giving the WWE a pass on some of the same grounds. Well, that's not necessarily true. But that's one of the arguments I've put out there. But at least was well written out and kind of thought through. But for the most part, it doesn't make a difference. AEW came off a good show. They're still number 2. And they're not expected to be number 1. But with all the resources and the press right now that they have for SummerSlam, I saw Ripley and CM Punk on some podcasts. I saw, Stephanie Vaquer is going to do a live meet and greet coming up in Houston, Texas. I see that, Cody doing his podcast and stuff, and seeing others out there promoting the event coming up. That's wonderful, but it's like still so much more that can be done right. And nobody's actually talking about the fact that, people are talking about the fact that, Saturday Night's Main Event was number 1 in all of prime time and their demographic. The overall audience, 1.4 million viewers. Is that what I read right? I need to double check that, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I thought I saw that Saturday Night's Main Event's ratings, it didn't break 2 million viewers. Just to double check once again. 1.425 million viewers. And it did do that, yes. But then what did beat it was Major League Baseball on Fox. And it did beat the UFC prelims on ESPN. Yeah. But looking at the performance of Saturday Night's Main Event on NBC since it came back, 1.59 million viewers on December 14th, 1.49 on January 25th, 1.97 on May 24th, and now this is the latest one, 1.43 million viewers on July 12th. Those are anemic numbers. You would think that the audience would just come out of their way to go ahead and watch this show. But, they did 3 matches. Nothing really spectacular. No title changes. They never have any. They're like a TNA level, B level pay-per-view, of which those monthly pay-per-views you do on TNA Plus, you almost always know they're never going to do a title change if there's going to be any at all. And nothing overly newsworthy on any of those shows as well. But people will watch them anyway. So now there's something that's trying to go viral right now. Jimmy Kimmel Live, they featured Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton brawling on the set of Jimmy Kimmel Live. And apparently Jelly Roll is in as a guest host this week because Jimmy's out for the next week or a couple weeks or a month or something like that. But anyway, here's what we got so far about what ABC allowed on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Doesn't get mega an audience, but anyway, here's what we got from Jimmy Kimmel on his show with guest host Jelly Roll, and they play out the storyline for SummerSlam with Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Jelly Roll, and Logan Paul.
Nobody flew here to see you act like a prick. Wrong time, wrong place. Why don't you back the I don't know what to do. I just lost. I guess we're gonna go to commercial break. Commercial break it is, y'all.
Oh, actually, no, I don't think we're gonna go to commercial break.
crowd's into it.
Logan Paul doesn't want to be in Los Angeles either. The people are so stupid, someone has to stop him. What are you, dummy? You a late-night talk show host? You a wrestler? You a country star? I told you this, Mr. Dummy Roll. Stay in your lane, stupid. Because I'll tell you what you are. You, my friend, are a greasy, redneck prison rat.
Who the f*** is
Shut the hell up, Jelly Roll. There's your receipt, stupid. Hey, congrats. It's Logan Paul show now. A real superstar. So, ladies and gentlemen, you want to see a real star? I'm here. Why don't you leave, huh?
What's up, dog? You coming to mess with me, son?
I'm surprised the table didn't have a Slim Jim logo on it.
You can see Randy Orton and me wrestle live August 2nd and 3rd, WWE SummerSlam, MetLife Stadium, baby. We'll be right back with music from Joey Badass.
All right. So there's what happened. If you didn't hear in the commentary, yes. While Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul wrestled each other offset, they do a quick setup where Jelly Roll choke slams Logan Paul through the desk, which was obviously a planted desk, not the normal desk that's up there. Yeah. But this is what they put together. I mean, no storyline really behind it. This is, in the same comparison of Eric Bischoff taking over the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. It's kind of like the same idea. But, I guess the Jimmy Kimmel program didn't care about having this on because, they'll take anything for ratings right now because their ratings are not good. Barely a blip over 1 million viewers every night. But then again, that's all late night TV. There's none of them worth watching. I'll just say that too. So I'm looking to see if there's anything about this and if it's getting over at all. I couldn't tell you if it is, but I'm just looking to find out if there's any kind of anything at all where we're seeing any kind of, I don't see anything right now about Jimmy Kimmel or anything like that at the moment that is getting people to talk about it. I don't know yet. I'm looking right now. So at the moment, I'm still looking. And, when I saw Randy Orton working together, I figured it was going to happen anyway, but, it's whatever. I'm just looking to see if there's anything here at all, if it's getting any kind of traction right now. But this really just happened as we're doing this. But Jelly Roll is obviously getting the run now to do the rounds of media, setting everything up. Why not? I will say this too. I'm actually surprised from people that were actually talking about the fact that why was Gunther sitting in the stands, just looking like nothing, to hold the belt and watch the gauntlet match. Instead, he could have been on commentary, at least for some part of it. I don't know why, but I'm looking to see if there's anything at all in terms of trending. Right now, no. This is just happening, and you know what? Not a thing. I am looking, and it doesn't look like we're getting much of anything off of what happened just now off of that. Nothing. At the moment, I'm watching on X. Yeah, literally about 20 minutes ago, this happened on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Shane Gillis at the ESPYs is trending right now. AW Dynamite is second. And Von Miller getting traded to the Commanders is third. That's it. And Okada's fourth, among other things. Interesting altogether. I'm looking. I see nothing about Jimmy Kimmel right now, or Jelly Roll, or anybody, or Logan Paul, anything like that at all. Nothing. It's all quiet. And the Netflix ratings, just to go through that as well, their current setup for the July 7th edition of Raw, reported this week, 2.6 million viewers, 4.7 million hours viewed for the week. A top 10 show in 8 countries. In the global top 10, number 7 for English language TV programs. That's it. So Now we're seeing what they're doing for SummerSlam, the setup for that. Meanwhile, AEW is just in its own lane. You know, they set up things. Adam Copeland is now going by his full name. He wants to go after FTR. MJF is calling himself best in the world. He's got the contract after the Casino Gauntlet match. He wants to go ahead and take care of things. Darby Allin stares down Jon Moxley. And Tony Storm says Mercedes Moné was delicious and wouldn't have a problem going back after her again. You know, go after the buffet that is Mercedes Moné and just go one more time at it if they want to go at it. That's pretty much it. And meanwhile, AEW is just in its own lane post All In Fallout. And they're moving along, setting things up. That's fine. One of the things that's being brought up as well here in terms of what they're going to be doing for Collision, which goes back to Saturday nights this week. The Natural Dustin Rose is going to go talk, so that's also fall off from All In. And there's going to be more tag team matches, multi-man tag team matches that they've been setting up from this week, and they're going to do the same thing for Saturday night. The plan to go ahead and do that following everything else. And of course, they got a few weeks out before they go ahead and do Forbidden Door Toronto. So they got time. They're going to just work things out and get things set up. Tony Khan spoke with Q101 Radio in Chicago as they're doing the residency right now for AEW. And he stated the company is doing, quote, the best work we've ever done. And he attributes a significant shift in his personal approach to the creative process. This is interesting what he's saying right now, where the creative process is going through a change. And that's also lining up with what happened with AEW when you felt there was a creative change that wasn't working right overall, because we saw they were doing some of the storylines, and, you know, Jon Moxley and Death Riders was running roughshod everywhere. Person to get not necessarily in the right space yet, getting over the fact that they're tag team champions and they're beating everybody up. Adam Copeland, Christian Cage stuff going on, also being in front and center across things. And there was some of the booking decisions that were being talked about that people were not happy about. So Tony Khan says he has taken a more direct hands-on role in booking the show, similar to his process during the 2020 pandemic era. So he says in late 2024 and early this year, he felt a change was needed to restore the feeling the company had in its earlier years. I had that same realization that I need to do what I did 5 years ago and just block out everything and just focus on AEW and not listen to everybody's advice, and maybe just make the show what I think it should be. He compared his current process to what he did in 2019. I just decided, okay, I'm going to scrap the meetings. I'm going to get a pencil and paper. I'm just going to get organized by myself. And you could tell that Tony does book this on his own. I can see it now pretty clearly. Once you can see that after the broadcast deal was finalized with Warner Brothers Discovery, their extension to continue on for another 3 years with a fourth year option, just went along. And he realized, okay, that's what's going to happen. He had to go and do negotiations to make sure everything was done. But also we had the NBA deal. This has been talked about extensively on this program. I explained it. And I could tell that Tony Khan must have been back at the pencil booking these shows, because we could tell the difference. The last 6 months, you could tell the difference a lot. Like after Revolution, you could tell the difference. It's significant right now. More than anything. So he says he explained that while he values the input of the great people backstage to contribute ideas, he realized he needed to be the ultimate filter. Instead of trying to take the best ideas from everyone and incorporate them, have it be a mix of everyone's ideas. I basically started writing my own outlines. So he makes that point here, and it's very clear about that. When it came to Hangman Adam Page becoming the AEW World Champion this weekend, he says that this decision was planned for a long time. And when he was asked if Hangman was going to be the right guy, he says, a long time ago, Hangman was always the guy for me. There was no question Hangman Page was the man to step up and fight Jon Moxley, who had beaten down AEW's locker room. And Khan did praise Moxley's 9-month reign as champion, and that he's one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. People now credit Moxley for doing exactly what he said he was going to do in AEW, uniting AEW's fan base and force somebody to step up and fight him. Okay, one other thing I saw that was going on right now that's just pretty significant for WWE, and I'm not surprised by this, but there are now going to be online casino games available in casinos in Michigan, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania in time for SummerSlam. Fanatics Betting and Gaming are setting this up. This is a big deal. So keep this in mind, folks. Of course, the sports community with TKO Group Holdings, they're trying to have the sports community, the betting community, embrace WWE, which if you're going to have sports right now, you want to have sports gambling be a part of all this because all the advertising is coming from that. There's so many ad dollars right now from sports gambling companies, FanDuel having its own, set of regional sports networks. Previously was Bally Sports. You see BetMGM. You see ESPN with their own now site with Bet, and Fox has the Fox 6. Like everybody's gotten themselves into the game of sports betting as it's being allowed more and more than ever. So WWE with TKO Group Holdings and Fanatics Betting and Gaming, which already does run WWE Shop, the Fanatics Fest you always see every year, and WWE stars are always constantly there for those events. Now there's a new multi-year licensing agreement for Fanatics Betting and Gaming to produce online casino games in the U.S. So WWE-themed online casino games exclusive for Fanatics Casino, which will be on iOS, Android, and web in Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and West Virginia. So not actual casino games on site, not actual physical casinos, but we never know. But these new online casino games will launch at the end of July, just in time for SummerSlam. And the WWE Fanatics partnership has already been set up because TKO Group Holdings put it because they want to have somebody really powerful to go and control merchandise and how it's being said. Because the partnership they already have is global e-commerce, licensed merchandise, memorabilia, and producing and distributing a growing lineup of digital shows. So they're pulling through it. Looks like they have 5 games to be made available. So in the games, you'll have a pure portfolio of games that are available. You'll be able to use fan cash. That'll work on every spin, hand, or roll, win or lose. And you can also use the fan cash into casino credit, bonus bets, exclusive apparel, etc. Live dealer action. Professional dealers will be able to be engaged with in real time through the live casino feature, where you can go ahead and experience the excitement of live blackjack, roulette, and baccarat, all for the comfort of your own home. So, yeah, getting the fan base into gambling. Look at that. You want to talk about making some money, because in this partnership, obviously, there's going to be something on the back end for TKO Group Holdings by getting the fans into gambling, making them new gamblers, that they would have that discretionary income. Obviously, they're going to pay for the events that they're going to right now, but think about it. They want to do this right here and set this up so that the fans, specifically that'll be a part of this, will get themselves into gambling. Part of it will be that they think that the casino games will get more of an interest into WWE from the outside in. But at the same time, the loyal, devoted, juvenile, delusional fans might buy into this and want to get a part into being in the betting process and putting them in the full casino features here to bet. So that's a plan that's been put into place. I thought it was really interesting to see that. I hadn't heard anybody really talking about that yet, but that's something that's coming up. So far, like I said, 6 matches for SummerSlam coming up. Let's go ahead and talk about Slammiversary coming up this weekend. It will be on Sunday. Elmont, New York, the UBS Arena. It looks like it's going to be a sellout. About a good 5,000 folks in the arena for that. The 21st event under Slammiversary's name, and it'll be the 23rd anniversary of the promotion. So now let's go and set up what's actually happening. So we already know that we're going to have the TNA World title set up on the line with Trick Williams going up against Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. Trick Williams has been now being called Trick NA in the promotion as he's getting set up. And he did defend the title on NXT against Mike Santana and Josh Briggs. Not on TNA programming, but either which way. Santino Marella, TNA Director of Authority, has granted Henry a rematch for the world title at Slammiversary. So you want to get a chance for him to go and try to win the belt back. We'll see. For the X Division title, at Against All Odds, Leon Slater pinned Moose in an 8-man tag team match, putting him in contention for the X Division title. Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander. Things were going on where Mustafa Ali was getting aggressive and was being abusive to the Order 4, Tasha Steelz, John Skyler, and Jason Hotch. And then there was a call to arms match that was being set up where Cedric Alexander would confront Mustafa Ali that came at the direction of Tasha Steelz. And now Alan Alexander will take a match at Slammiversary. The Knockouts World Tag Team titles will be on the line. The Inspiration. They return to TNA at the countdown to the Against All Odds pre-show, going after the Elegance brand, Ash by Elegance, Heather by Elegance, and M by Elegance, making title intentions clear. Ash by Elegance won a battle royal for a future TNA Knockouts World title. And TNA would announce the Inspiration would challenge Ash and Heather by Elegance for the Knockouts World Tag Team titles at Slammiversary. We already know that JC Jane retained her NXT Women's title at Great American Bash. So we had Evolution. That's right, Evolution. You know, got a little bit confusing there. Samovich retained her title against Killer Kelly during TV tapings, ambushed by Fatal Influence. And then a title versus title match was announced for the TNA Knockouts World title and the NXT Women's Championship at Slammiversary. All set up for that. Some of the matches they already have set up for this weekend. We just mentioned some of the names. The Nemets will take on the Hardys, the Rascals, and First Class for the World Tag Team titles. So I'm expecting Trick Williams to win the TNA World title. I expect Moose to retain the X Division title. For the tag team titles, I'm going to go with First Class. That's not that's the dark horse favorite. I don't think anybody's going to pick them, but we're going to pick that. Tessa Blanchard and Indy Hartwell. I will take Tessa Blanchard. But actually, you know what? Tessa's been taking losses. So Indy Hartwell with the win. I'll take Cedric Alexander over Mustafa Ali. I'll take the Inspiration because the WWE component, they're former stars in that company. I just think that TNA's booking is not going to be to their own device. I think they're going to have a lot of influence by Shawn Michaels, the NXT team, as to what they're going to decide to do. So if they want to go and say the Inspiration wins, they'll say the Inspiration can win. Master Slamovich, JC Jane, title versus title. I hate to say it, but I expect it to happen now. Now that we already have the change, because I thought if Jordan Grace won, they were going to do something where she was going to be double champion, but they decided to go and make the plans to put Blake Monroe in a program with Jordan Grace and completely just turn around the whole idea of what they were going to do originally, which I didn't even know. But like the debut of Blake Monroe just as an on-air character, and now finally going to have her singles match, her singles debut coming up on NXT, all coming together. So Jordan Grace is completely off the card. Nothing with TNA at this card. I was actually kind of surprised by that. But I would not be surprised if JC Jane wins the TNA Knockouts title and is double champion. I see that happening. I don't think they're going to keep the belt in Masha Slamovich. I don't see it. I could totally see where Fatal Influence obviously will come in. Doesn't matter if Li Ying Lee and Zia Brookside are at Masha Slimovich's side. Fatal Influence will be around ringside, and there'll be too much to overcome. JC Jane will most likely win. That's what I expect for that. 7 matches, by the way, on the card. for the main card. I don't know if they're going to have anything for the pre-show, but yeah, that's the plan. We'll see how it works out. And we're going to call it like that tonight. We're going to come back this Sunday and do a post-show for Summerversary. I will catch a show. You know, anytime it's a TNA pay-per-view, you know yours truly is going to go and do something about it. We always going to do post-shows for that. So this is no different, but you'll be able to catch that right here, kingofpodcasts.com. And look for it on Sunday night. We'll do it. Thank you as always for listening in. kingofpodcasts.com. You can find all my other episodes, all my other shows. Find me on the YouTube. Please subscribe there. I'm getting close to being able to monetize, and it will be grateful if you can help me out with that. Come back this week and enjoy Slammiversary. Come back for another Wrestling Observer podcast, because wrestling needs us.